There was a point where I cared too much about what other people thought because of being so concerned about the perception of my story, what others may think of my story, because of keeping it under wraps to a large degree, like you said, putting it aside so that I could go and deliver what was being asked of me as a performer. It was informing who I was, and it was definitely part of why I was attractive to people, because there was the interest, who is this person, and all this energy. It's part of who I am. But I wasn't completely in honor of it being a part of who I am. I made the choice to say, I don't want to be this like I've seen, because I've recognized that those choices others have made, their life is a result of our choices. Their lives were something I did not want to experience. I wanted to experience something else. And there was something that I saw in my grandmother's eyes as a young child. I lost her when I was 3, and I was one of those kids. I remember when I'm 3. I remember when I was 2. I am one of those kids that has a clear memory of that period. And I remember in her eyes, and I remember it in my mother's, a life not lived. I saw it in my great aunties too, a life not lived. And that's the only, I couldn't define it as a child, couldn't define it, but there was something in there that's what resonated to me when I did some really deep work several years ago. I did another deep dive to unpack and find where this trauma was that was creating a bit of an earthquake in my life, because it was I had a trigger, which happens when you have trauma. Something on the outside hits a trigger. When you're ready, it's going to surface, and it's time for you to be your parent, time for you to be a good steward of yourself, of your life, and make a choice. It's a time for choice. And so I made a choice to look at it and to do some work with my ancestors, to do some work with my grandmother, my aunties who are no longer with us, and look at them and see them again from the eyes I have now, then a few years back. And that statement came to me, a life unlived. And I thought, gosh, why is that? Why? And so many women, it's walked this journey, sacrificed for children, for their husbands, for society, whatever it was. Mothers, women made a choice. And for generations, we put our life, something that we may have, our dream, aside, and we sacrificed, or we hid, or whatever it was that made us make whatever the choice was. And there was something in me that said, no, I have to. But I, like water on a rock, being in that environment, it left a groove. So in my journey, of course, I did that. I did that with my own self. There were parts of my life that were being left unlived. And it was the fear of acknowledging, of sharing my story, because I was afraid that I was afraid that my agents and the people that I worked with would think, oh my gosh, she's, who is this person?